All right. Okay, everybody. Oh, let me get the microphone. All right, all right. Hold on, let me go back here. All right. Just briefly, we are live streaming now too. So this is the report back from our morning activities from day 2. And we had a really good conversations this morning. Just a little bit of a recap with what we worked on this morning. Hold on a second. We this morning worked on a future land use planning exercises and started with our mental mapping exercises where participants drew their own map of the city, how they relate, where your house is, where you work, what places you like to visit. And then we moved into an exercise, another planning exercise about mapping of your favorite places. So favorite places in the city, favorite shopping streets, walking streets, barriers and opportunity sites, public spaces, and everyone created these plans, and we're going to do or these ideas to share. And if you weren't able to attend this morning and do these exercises, you can, and other times during this week, come down and do these maps, and we'll add them to the others throughout the week. But right now, we're going to do a report back. So I'm actually going to stop the share. I wanted to kind of provide everybody who is going to look at, either currently looking at the stream or looks at the stream later, a little background on what we did this morning. And then what I'm going to do is open it up and invite people to come up here and share the maps that they made. And so now I'm actually going to escape from the presentation, and I'm going to go back to my stream and stop sharing. So now we're at this is the mic. I'm going to adjust this actually a little bit. And when you come up, I'm going to give you the mic, and you'll be able to see in front of you the camera. And actually, this is what is streaming online. And what I'm going to do is actually just share my maps. So I participated in this event too, and this is the mental map that I made. And what I did was on my map, I showed the bluff and the neighborhood areas, which I called the hill, but I've come to think of it as up on the hill, we've got the good land, and that's where the neighborhoods are. And there's a reason why the hill is there, because that's where you build in areas that are around water like we have here. And I really, I've come to love the bluff. I see great opportunity in the bluff, but it's a big part of how I've come to identify with the morphology of this city. And then I also, on my map, I noted some of the key places that have become landmarks to me. So, City Hall, I put on here, the high school I put on here. I love dancing and art. We did a listening session at the Citadel, so that's become a place that I've really identified. So I put the Citadel on my map. Also, the Armory building is a building that we've driven by. I know that's an important building, and that's become something that has kind of lived in my mind as a landmark. So I put the Armory on here. Also put Hall Park on my map, and I put the MLK school and the MLK site behind the school, which I think is an important place that has become a part of my mind and an opportunity, I think, for future development. And then I also put all this orange on my map is kind of the waterway and river systems and attachment to the beach and the resort. And I think that this is, also the relationship between the community and the natural resource and the water system is another big part of how I think about the city. So this is kind of my mental map. And I'll also share the asset-based opportunities map that I made. So I also made this map, and this is my asset-based opportunities map. And on this map, I really just put opportunity sites, I put barriers, desire lines, so places that I think need to be connected. And then I put, my big thing is infill opportunities, creating more housing opportunities, and I think that's really all around the city. But the barriers that I observed is kind of the connections between the waterfront and some of those resources, and connections between the hill or the area up on the bluff and downtown. So I put all these green desire lines on my map because I'm really about creating opportunity access connections. And I'm seeing that in connecting neighborhoods to all of these great resources in the city, I think that there is a big opportunity in that. So that's my mapping, and I'm gonna ask for some brave people who wanna come up here and share as well. The one thing that I am noticing is, so I'm doing this because I want to kind of show my maps to the camera. And what's that? Oh no, what I'm doing, so everyone knows this is streaming. So I'm showing it to the camera that's actually going out onto the internet. And then anyone else will be able to see our report back. So there is a camera here, and when you come up, you'll see yourself on the camera. And that's what's going. So I'm doing this so that the camera can see me. But I'm also noticing that it's hard for me to do that while I have a microphone. So I'm happy to also stand and hold the microphone for people when they come up. So does anyone want to share their all right, Commissioner Clark Griffin. Wonderful. So if you don't mind, if you stand in front of the camera, you'll be able to see, and then I'll hold the mic for you, if that's okay.
All right. So I turn it towards the camera?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so, of course, I am 4th Ward Commissioner, Ethel Clark Griffin. And for some reason, I kind of stayed in the 4th Ward mostly, because that's where I am mostly. So as far as the things important to me, you'll see it's the home and the church. Those are most important things to me, kind of drew the home and the church. As far as things that could be improved in the city, I got Edgecombe Park, the little trees, the Armory, 200 Pawpaw, Morton Hill School, inner city housing, and I did kind of like an apartment complex. Jobs, especially my job for 20 to 28 years, because some of these jobs, me being a UAW chair, also I fight for rights of employees. So I deal with a lot of issues. So jobs can be improved. And then as far as things that I see every day, I did more of an illustrational map.
Yeah.
Because it illustrates what you see every day. So I put downtown Ben Harbor. So I put restaurants, library, city hall, delivery, Center for Better Health, Soul Ground Cafe, drew a picture of all of them. Riverview, post office, Bays, Family Dollar. Those are things I'm at all the time. Vincent Place, as far as Main Street, I kind of separated them into sections. The Vincent Place, Life Plan, Secret Garden. Look, I think I did really good on that. But anyway, Vantage Eye, Larks, and Hawk's Nest. And as far as walking trail, most of the walking I do is like when I'm going to residents and kind of see their complaints, or if they call me about issues. And as far as shopping, I'm more of a Macy's and Fifth Avenue and JCPenney. I'm more online and Amazon. So I don't really do a lot of shopping around here. So that's my illustration.
Wonderful, thank you. And if you want, can we take your maps?
Sure.
We're gonna actually post these up, so as you come up, I'm gonna put a little stack here. And we'll just all stack our maps, and then we'll get them on display and photograph them. If anyone has any attachment at the end of the shred, you're welcome to have your map back, but I'm gonna borrow it while we capture it. Who wants to go next? Anyone? 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 I know that there were a lot of good maps, so I will call on people if I don't get volunteers. All right, we've got a reluctant volunteer. Now, I would say everybody else get prepared. We want to get some of these shares out. Would it be helpful if I hold the mic for you?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I don't follow directions very well. But what I did was draw a map of the areas of Benton Harbor that I frequent. Actually, I've been coming to work in Benton Harbor since 1972. The Arts District is my home turf. My family owned what used to be Bramall Supply, and the Arts District has been kind of a pet project of mine. So almost everything on my map is Arts District related.
Cool.
All of the restaurants, the Citadel Dance and Music Center, Water Street Glass, the Livery, Chatterbox down the street a little ways, crossing Main, the Houndstooth Restaurant across the street from City Center Park. City Center Park, by the way, is an asset that has tremendous potential in my mind. It's completely underutilized and could be a big focal point for the city. Also on my map, I have the canal. This is Riverview Drive here, canal which still exists to some extent. And my proposal or recommendation would be to connect the Arts District by way of a pedestrian pathway that traces the canal to the other end of town where Whirlpool is constructing its 80-unit housing project. So you have a barbell effect connecting the two most developed areas, concentrating new development in those areas that are already successful. So by adding density to successful areas, you make those areas more successful.
Thank you for sharing. Actually, can you leave your maps for
Oh,
us?
sure.
This is the advantage of having a mic, is I can also say, I have the canal connection on my map too. That is a great idea, that connection along the canal. So I appreciate you bringing that one to the table. Who's next? Who's brave and is gonna come up? All right, I'm seeing you go for your maps. All right.
I've got a map. I don't have much art. Ken, very good job.
Thank you.
You as well?
You wanna take it? All right.
I'll take it.
Yep,
All
go
right,
for it.
all right. Picking up on the canal and the importance it has had for this town from the beginning of time, pretty much. Morton House is going to be doing a talk next Tuesday. And the theme of this year, this summer, is making us all aware of the history of the Ship Canal. And there's a lot of history that exists. They've been scrounging and trying to deepen their knowledge base on that. I've come across a thesis that somebody wrote for their master's at Western a few years ago. So the information keeps getting deeper. And I'm attracted to the water. You talked about being on the bluff.
Yeah.
I like to be down, sort of, the water might come and go, but you're closer to it because I like that. I also like the scenery from above. And we are blessed with water here and utilizing it instead of, and I think the world is slowly turning toward the water and seeing the value instead of considering it a waste dump and an opportunity to get rid of your stuff, which still happens here and everywhere, but we're starting to turn the corner on that. My sketch is 0, and there you go. Highlights, I think, have been mentioned clearly with some of our successful businesses in town. The Livery, where we will all be within a few days or hours of now. Water Street, some of the core businesses that have invested here, put a roof back on a building that has collapsed. They really need to be honored. Those early developers here, some of the core people from the Arts District. The Arts District is a place, but it's a place that gives us all the heart that we need to create community. And I know we appreciate that. We need to thank them for being here, and we need to encourage and become good neighbors around them. The path that Ken promoted and has been talked about before would be a huge asset to the community to tie neighborhoods together. I think that's the
You
idea.
cover your points?
I did, I believe.
All right. please do share that with us. I just put a stack right there. All right. Thank you. All right, who's next? Thank you. All right. Would it be helpful if I hold the mic for you? or do you
Yes,
want-
I'd appreciate that so much. Thank you so much. It's really great to be here. I'm glad that I changed my day and made time for
Thank you.
this. I don't want to miss something that I did miss on my map, and it came in my spirit as I was sitting there. And that is when I drive down just the residential streets in Benton Harbor. I understand we do focus a lot on the Art District and Main Street and City Park and all of that, building of those areas, but my heart goes out to the folks that live on the small streets and the streets off from some of our main streets, and where I feel they're forgotten, not just the people necessarily, but the structures, the homes. And that if we're going to build for them to come out of the homes, to have something that they can enjoy, that is some of our main features, then I feel like we should pay attention to where they're going back to reside as well, that too needs support and building up. So I don't want to miss that.
Yes.
So with my map, I did concentrate kind of on where my husband and I are most, which is the African American History and Literature Gallery at 725 Broadway. And I have in notes in red of what's needed or supported, that I feel that in a community, sometimes we are saying we have little this and little that, but if you have workers, if you have someone that's trying to establish something, which is the gallery, then somehow there should be energy directed into that, funds or people, to make sure that whoever that is that's trying to do that work doesn't tire, that they have the support that they need in the community to continue to beautify. Just that spot there alone can mean a lot. And the gallery has done that, 4 years old now. And just because of a lot of prayer, we've stuck to it. So I think community support to anything new or something that is developing. Don't just say, oh, they're over there, that looks real nice now. Go and see if they need help and if you can help them to make that a part of the community. The other thing is that the gallery is very near the Benton Harbor High School. And my thing is that I love our role model, and I call them that in a positive way, St. Joe, which I know that there is funding, community funding, just regular residents, that when they don't have enough money or they can't get something approved because they want a new stadium or something, football stadium, well, they have a fund, a foundation that can fund those other things that their schools may need. And so they don't have to go around, getting into arguments or trying to beg for money that's not there. They go to what the purse they know that they've established, and they know how much is in there, and they know they have the votes to use that money the way they want to. So I don't think we have a foundation, a Benton Harbor Foundation, to support some of the ideas and the well-being that we would like to see happen for our community, including, of course, rehabbing our high school. The other thing is that just normal for Benton Harbor, if I could just see all the trash picked up, I mean, and just flowers and some plants or something, or maybe even some more artwork in place of the trash areas. There's a lot of trash areas. And I love the art district, but I also think that art district needs to expand within the community. I think that I need to see arts where the people are going home and turning curves, and not where they gotta make time to go down to the art district to get artsy. I should be able to experience that within my culture, within my community. And I also wanted to just point out, I know a lot of times we say, where's the money coming from? I do believe that there is enough support in the community that when we come together, just like with here, that when they see we're serious, someone will fund and kickstart something that's going somewhere. And so you do this, you come together for whatever that is, and I believe kickstart funds, and then the people have to get behind it. People support the funding of their community. And sometimes it's just the same group, gang of people. Every meeting you go to where something's going on, it's the same people. And that's okay, because you are the ones that are supporting and carrying that community. And so I don't know if we have a core group like that. But I know when I lived in Simi Valley, California for almost 40 plus years, I was very involved there, even in city planning as well. And it was amazing. I had to learn that every gathering, I saw the same people, because they were the ones that was the core to say, I love my neighborhood, and I'm gonna make sure that my neighborhood is something that I feel proud of to come home to. And certainly if I wanted to invite family or other people, that when they come into my city, I don't have to say, well, take them around the other way, don't bring them in on that street. That's ridiculous. Because that's what we do here in Benton Harbor, okay? So I'm just hoping that community support and the ideas that you all work together, we all work together today, and that part of that is saying, let's build funding to put those ideas in place. Thank you.
Do you want to share your other map?
Now this was for my husband, Matt.
Oh,
And I have to be honest, we didn't have a lot of discussion. It is pretty though. I will share it because he's kind of got a little artist hand. So it's a good looking map. And he did in fact, at the Benton Harbor School, he has the gallery. He has the Benton Harbor Library. Boy, we did discuss that. We've been discussing that for some years now. People would like to come to a library when they can actually see the outside where it's inviting. You know, you've got some facade, going on that it just looks like it's an interesting place where you could maybe find not only books, but art and there's some other fun stuff. He also has listed here the Mason jar. He likes to eat there, okay? There's a salmon salad, that he does. And then he has the Citadel, because that is one of those places where a lot of things happen there. Family reunions, I think, graduations, dance, all kind of things. And then oh my goodness, he put all his favorite places that I do know about him. So he has 6 Degrees, the thrift store, because we love thrift stores and we love to do antique shopping. So that's it.
very cool. Thank you so much. And thank you for those thoughts. I particularly the idea of expanding the arts district and expanding cultural opportunities, creating art, experiencing art. I think that's a citywide goal, citywide initiative. All right, who's brave? See, I know there's some more people here. I might call on Commissioner Reed. I see you looking around. Yes, I will hold the mic for you, sir. Here, come over here.
After all those excellent presentations, I'm almost ashamed to come up here to show mine. What you're looking at is the entire map of Benton Harbor. In my business, it takes me all over the city, so I only put on here the places that I frequent the most. Starting with Clark Park, till you've seen a sunset from this side of the Lake Michigan, you haven't seen a sunset. So that's one of our favorite places to go. Of course, I'm going to go into the Arts District. I love that salmon salad, same as the previous person said. There's lots of interesting parks in that area. So if you have an opportunity, go visit the parks there. Of course, if I'm looking for barbecue, I know where to go get that. I frequent City Hall quite often. I'm always in and out of the post office. There's the bread bar. From time to time, I frequent the high school, and I live in a nice part of Benton Harbor. So to me, we need to get the rest of the city looking as good as some of the areas do, especially if you've ever been over in Grand Boulevard, over in Clark Park. You've seen some of the things that can be in Benton Harbor. So when we start talking about additional housing, those are some of the places we look. I also have family in the neighborhoods. They're all over the place. So these are basically how I see it. And when we start talking about areas to fix up, almost anywhere you go in Benton Harbor where there's vacant lots, is an opportunity for middle housing. We talked a lot about Ox Creek, but we never talked about the economic opportunities that would bring if you bring middle housing back into the city. So those are some of the things that we're going to be looking at and talking about. We start talking about commercial areas, commercial corridors in the neighborhoods. Empire Corridor was one of the areas that we had looked at previously years ago. I think that's still an active area that we can look at. There's so many other little mom and pop places in the city that we could build housing and small businesses opportunities. So these are the type of things that we're looking at. I don't want to expose too much now because I really want to hear from the community, to hear what you all have to say. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Reed. Does anyone else want to share? I know we had some attrition, so we have a lot of maps and people had to leave because we're into the lunch hour now. Rich, do you want to do your share? All right. Can I hold the mic for you?
Please. So I came late, so my map is not complete. I have to admit that up front. I spent a lot of time on Pipestone Street and also downtown. So I began to try to sketch that in and got distracted. But I do want to say that there are a number of places that really stand out to me as important opportunities and places that need our attention as a group here today. First of all, I think that hearing about the area of, let's see, that's Broadway and, let's see, 700 Division, Broadway and Division, as an area of, potential and one where there's energy and current activity. We yesterday looked at Empire and Broadway up close, getting out, walking around, this whole group who was available. And we see the same thing in other neighborhoods nearby, the area where Project T is going to be considered. So what I would like to see on my map that I didn't get to is addressing some of those areas in ways that make the neighborhoods inviting to the people who have an investment there now. We have lots of people, and we discovered yesterday, looking at our map of homesteads, how many homeowners we actually have in the city. We've been told over and over again that 70% of our housing is rental housing. And yet when you look at the homestead exemptions on the maps, there are plenty of people who own their own home and who are trying to make a good life in the neighborhoods. And we as a city need to respond to that and support it. So in my drawing base map, I actually indicated in the time I had for this, a few areas where I thought we should look at increasing housing density as a way of bringing energy and life to sections of the neighborhoods. So the Empire Broadway corridor, to create opportunities for entrepreneur, to clean up the corridor for children who are walking back and forth to school, to make sure that they have a bright place to see on their way. I can't imagine walking to school on that street every day, past those buildings that are crumbling and not being, and there's no life there. So I've indicated some of those on this map in orange. Project T is here. I think we have some other opportunities. We were back and forth talking about what was possible along with the Ox Creek, but I'd like to see us do some housing down there. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to live in an area that's natural, that has natural beauty right now, doesn't require a whole lot of imagination to imagine what it would be nice to live in a nice, maybe townhouse or apartment, and be able to walk the trail in either direction to a neighborhood's commercial area, say where Project T is going to be, to buy your groceries or to just walk downtown and enjoy the parks along the way. That kind of quality of life in our city is what built our city to begin with. And I think we need to look back to what was successful and see what we can't carry forward. So I guess that's the majority of it. I think there's some other opportunities downtown that also need to be thought about. How we use the canal right of way right now, the city owns it. There's no reason it can't be cleaned up and accessible to people for recreation and to appreciate what's left of the canal right now. That's something that the citizens of Benton Harbor, the residents, have been paying for a century and a half. So why don't we have access to it? So a simple question, something easy and simple that could be done right away without a lot of extra work. So anyway, that's as far as I got.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing. Oh, can I take your maps for the project record? I love the idea about, especially the relationship between providing new housing opportunities, creating new housing opportunities in the neighborhood, and then the service areas, so neighborhood nodes, commercial districts, small stores, that, there's not just an opportunity for those types of facilities, services, businesses in the downtown area. There's an opportunity for those in neighborhoods and at neighborhood nodes as well. I call them nodes, but that's really just a fancy word for a place where there's businesses, and integrating those types of services throughout the city. We've been hearing about it, and I think it's really good to point that out. We did a tour yesterday, and we went to look at a lot of those opportunity sites, and we'll continue today and tomorrow to explore ideas around what actually, from a visual perspective and from a use perspective, do we want to target for different opportunity areas. So I think we had a very fruitful discussion, getting some of these ideas and starting to put these ideas onto maps and thinking about places. This is what informs the process of creating a future land use map. And the 2011 plan includes a future land use map. And that's really the core vision for how you express that through land development. That map is one of the biggest tools that the city commissioners and city planning commissioners have to ask policy questions about whether or not development proposals are aligned with city vision. So as part of the process, in addition to establishing goals and objectives and thinking about all the projects that need to be done, we want to represent those ideas on a future land use map, which then we can translate to the city zoning regulations. So this exercise we did this morning is really a first step to take some of those ideas and try to put them onto a map so we can translate them into a new future land use map as part of this planning process. So I would encourage certainly anyone online that takes the time to view this report back. If you have time to come to one of our sessions this week, please contact myself or one of our team members. And, you can do these maps whenever you come to the studio. We can make an opportunity, and we'd like to get more of these ideas captured as part of this process. Just as a quick announcement, we're going to take probably now it looks like about a 40-minute lunch break. Everyone is welcome to stay in the Secret Garden space, which has been made available to us all day, but we will reconvene our official meetings and discussions at 1. At 1, we're starting a series of focus group discussions. And let me go back here to my presentation. I'll share this screen really quick. I just blew this up. And, oh, I gotta. Oops. All right. Hold on here. I'm gonna go back to my live stream and just share out this schedule, share screen. Share screen 2. Now I have to go back into presentation mode. There we go. Okay, starting at 1 p.m., we're going to do a series of focus group discussions, and we're going to do these discussions based on kind of 3 categories. So rather than doing the SWOT analysis, we decided to do this category because it's often a more useful way to talk about city issues. So we're going to talk about things that we need to fix. Problems that we know of that really need to be fixed and deserve attention. We're going to talk about things that need to be kept or protected and preserved, important community assets, things that we need to make sure are noted in this planning process and noted in a way that need to be protected and preserved. And then aspirational goals. So places and things that the community wants to aspire to achieve. So we're going to use this framework. We're going to talk about fix, keep, aspire for each of these subject matter groups. And so generally at 1 p.m., we're going to talk in a focus group format about housing, access, and equity issues in the city. At 2 p.m., we're going to talk about commercial corridors, nodes, places where we want to create new commercial opportunities, but we're also going to talk about the city's corridors and connections. This is an opportunity to talk about trail connections, to talk about access to things like the canal and Ox Creek, but as well as biking opportunities, walking opportunities, even down to fixing the streets. Even though I know the city has fixed a lot of street issues in this last year, there might still be some issues that we need to know about, and we'd like to discuss that today as well. At 3 p.m., we're going to talk about education, coordination with Ben Harbor school system, and also youth engagement and youth programming. And then at 4, we'll roll into talking about public safety issues and maintenance issues. And I know that there are probably more issues than the way we've described them that we want to talk about it, and that's okay. I think the afternoon is about note-taking and about conversations. So we expect these conversations will flow a little bit through the issues that people want to discuss. We also know that there are many people who won't be able to spend the entire afternoon with us. So we encourage people to come and join a conversation when you have time and provide the feedback that you have whenever you can come this afternoon or throughout the week. And then the other thing, just wanted to know real quick, we do have our opening presentation happening here this evening at 7 p.m. We do plan to live stream that presentation as well. We understand that the mayor will be coming to make some opening remarks, and then we'll be doing kind of some condensed versions of the presentations that we made yesterday, as well as sharing some of the findings of the last 2 days in food for thought presentations. Tonight, we will be looking to get feedback on vision and goals, planning week themes. So we do have some public feedback opportunities at the meeting tonight too. So we hope that people that have time will join us this evening here at the Secret Garden for these opening presentations. And I'm going to adjourn this meeting now so we can all have lunch and reconvene at 1 p.m. Thank you very much.